Imagine picking up an old diary, flipping through its yellowed pages, and suddenly your eyes stop on something unusual. Strange symbols resembling a cipher hidden among the entries. This is exactly how the story began that led to a great discovery in the world of organized crime. These mysterious symbols found among Al Capone's personal belongings remained a mystery for a long time. But recently, a group of researchers and cryptographers using modern technology managed to decipher the code hidden by the gangster almost a century ago. This cipher not only revealed the secrets of his empire but also pointed to a long-forgotten building on the outskirts of Chicago. When the decryption was completed, it became clear that the symbols pointed to the coordinates of one of Capone's hideouts. A research team immediately set out for the location. A cracked brick wall and tightly sealed doors greeted them with silence. But behind these walls, a completely different story was hidden. The cipher, which was once a secret, now became the key to a chain of astonishing events. Shortly after the decryption, the team discovered that the symbols were not just coordinates, they concealed plans and diagrams. Every sign, every number pointed to specific details that only heightened the intrigue. Soon, a new chapter in Al Capone's life was revealed. What initially seemed like just a collection of strange symbols turned out to be a thread leading deep into the mysteries and secrets surrounding his criminal empire. One of the greatest mysteries of the Prohibition era was on the verge of being solved with the help of these ciphers. And this is only the beginning of a grand adventure. An abandoned building. Al Capone's secret rooms. A group of researchers stood before the old building, hidden in the shadows of urban legends. The abandoned house, shrouded in the cobwebs of time, looked more like a forgotten warehouse than the lair of one of the most notorious gangsters. On the outside, just plain brick walls and heavy iron doors that seemed to hold the stories of the past within them. But as soon as they stepped inside, they immediately sensed something inexplicable. The walls whispered of times long past, when life once bustled here. The room, which appeared simple at first glance, turned out to be just a cover for what was hidden beyond its walls. As they ventured deeper into the building, the explorers discovered carefully concealed doors hidden behind wooden panels leading to spacious rooms. Each room, labyrinthine and haunted by the ghosts of the past, seemed purposefully designed to hide the true scale of Capone's operations. In one of the rooms, glass-fronted cabinets lined with rows of bottles served as a reminder of the Prohibition era. However, the most intriguing discovery was the hidden caches sealed within the walls. There, they found documents bearing signatures, supply lists, and records that confirmed the legends of his influential connections. Among them were tunnel plans drawn on yellowed maps indicating precise routes leading to other significant locations in the city. All of this suggested that the secret rooms might be just the tip of the iceberg, and the true secrets of Capone's empire were only beginning to be uncovered. Secrets behind the walls. New discoveries in the gangster's lair. The researchers continued to study the mysterious discoveries that revealed themselves with every new turn in these dark corridors. They came across carefully disguised rooms that were built into the thick walls, as if they had always been part of the architectural design. In one of the rooms, a magnificent collection of artifacts from that era was discovered. Antique weapons that may once have served Al Capone and his men. These finds were not just reminders of turbulent times, but also physical proof of his power and influence. Moving further, the group came across an unexpected discovery. An entire room, shrouded in darkness, was filled with boxes and crates. Inside them were antique liquor bottles, each with its own unique engraving. It was a kind of archive of the smuggling that took place during the Prohibition era. Notations, documents, and sales receipts revealed a complex network of suppliers and clients, over which Capone reigned as a true king. However, the most unexpected discovery was something that could be called the heart of this tangled and secret world. The group stumbled upon a massive wooden door with no visible locking mechanism. It opened as if sensing the presence of guests. Behind it, they found a room whose walls were adorned with maps and diagrams depicting the intricate web of his business dealings with high-ranking officials. Within these documents lay the elusive truth of how Capone managed to evade prosecution by the law. The information in these papers revealed an entirely new side of his criminal empire, showing just how deeply and meticulously it had been planned and organized. Each discovery here was like another piece of a puzzle, offering a small glimpse into a world shrouded in impenetrable mystery. But the mysteries of the old building did not end there. Ahead, new discoveries awaited the researchers, which could finally shed light on the long-standing secrets of Al Capone's empire. A secret passage and hidden tunnels. How did Capone evade the law? As the researchers moved further, they stumbled upon something that at first appeared to be an unremarkable windowless storage room. But behind the closed door was a carefully designed system of tunnels, giving the impression that Capone had built his own little underground world. Narrow corridors lined with wood and concrete branched off in several directions, like a web stretching deep beneath the city. These tunnels were a true discovery. They stretched for miles, connecting hideouts with key points in the city, bars, warehouses, and even private residences. Each branch was equipped with old-fashioned lanterns, lighting the way through this labyrinth. Several tunnels led directly to the river, providing a convenient route for quick escapes or for transporting contraband goods. The evidence covering the tunnel walls told the story of meticulously planned operations that rendered all of Capone's activities invisible. Maps and diagrams laminated by time showed the routes that the city patrol never noticed. It was a complex network that allowed him to always stay one step ahead of the law. Trying to keep up with the unfolding events, the investigators carefully examined every detail. On one of the walls, they discovered old photographs. Those who had conspired with him, recorded as reminders of the alliances and agreements that kept his empire afloat. These tunnels were not just escape routes, they were a testament to Capone's skill and foresight, as he always knew how to avoid the authorities' attention. But what else could be found in the depths of these underground passages? Were there still hidden archives down there that could change the history we thought we knew? The answers might be waiting ahead, and the mystery was only becoming more intriguing. Unveiling the hidden archives. New facts about Al Capone's empire. The archives found in secret rooms revealed many previously unknown facts about the scale of Al Capone's empire. Among the documents covered in the dust of time were financial reports that confirmed his influence over the largest companies and banks. These were not just records of income, they were a map of his power and control. Each page, filled with numbers, told the story of how Capone used his capital to manipulate markets and finance various operations. In addition, the archive contained personal letters and telegrams that revealed his connections with high-ranking officials and businessmen. These documents showed that Capone had access to information that could endanger many of his allies. Like a true maestro, he pulled the strings of his network without leaving unnecessary traces. One of the most striking discoveries was a collection of old newspaper clippings and obituaries containing information about competitors and enemies who had suddenly disappeared or died. Among these papers were records of meetings that were never meant to be documented. This was proof that Capone had a detailed and systematic strategy for eliminating his rivals. No less important was the part of the archive containing the diaries of his closest associates, where plans and operations were described in detail. These records shed light on how Capone maintained order within his organization, as well as how he punished anyone who dared to cross him. Every word in these diaries reflected the harsh reality of life in the criminal world. All these documents revealed a new side of Al Capone's life, how he not only ruled his empire with an iron grip, but also skillfully concealed his actions from the watchful eyes of the law. The new facts emerging from these archives could change our understanding of that era so profoundly that it might influence the entire history of organized crime in America. There were still unsolved mysteries ahead, waiting for researchers to uncover new chapters of this thrilling and dangerous story. Unexpected allies, collaboration with prominent politicians. As researchers tried to grasp the scale of Al Capone's empire, they stumbled upon unexpected documents that indicated his connections with influential political figures of that era. These documents formed the foundation of the complex relationships that ensured the safety of his criminal operations. Among the papers were correspondences with well-known senators and even city mayors, who at the time played key roles in governing the city. It turned out that Capone skillfully used his connections with politicians to guarantee his own safety and the prosperity of his business. In exchange for financial support or other favors, these high-ranking officials turned a blind eye to his criminal activities. Some letters discussed assistance in election campaigns, which Capone generously sponsored to ensure the loyalty of his friends in government. In return, he was granted access to information that helped him avoid police raids and arrests. Not just financial support, but also personal meetings with political figures became key elements of his strategy. Records indicated secret meetings in luxurious restaurants and clubs where the terms of mutually beneficial cooperation were discussed. These meetings gave Capone confidence that his operations would remain in the shadows, despite constant attention from law enforcement agencies. In addition, it was discovered that some politicians used Capone's influence in the criminal world to eliminate their competitors. This was a kind of mutually beneficial cooperation, where each partner gained their own advantage. These connections with politicians not only strengthened his position, but also made him virtually untouchable by the law. The revelation of these facts changed the perception of the Prohibition era, showing just how deeply corruption had penetrated the system and how flawlessly Capone managed his network, reaching unprecedented heights in the criminal world. The secrets of personal diaries? What was the famous gangster hiding? The discovered personal diaries of Al Capone became a true revelation, providing a unique insight into the hidden aspects of his life. On the yellowed pages of the diaries, one could see more than just plans and schemes. Here were the gangster's personal reflections, never meant for anyone else's eyes. In his entries, Capone shared his thoughts on betrayal and loyalty, which at times helped him choose his closest associates. These notes may have explained why some of his accomplices still remained out of reach of the authorities. On pages filled with tiny handwriting, he reflected on the challenges of running a vast organization, as if foreseeing future difficulties and dangers. He described his thoughts on ways to manipulate people and the methods of persuasion he used to maintain his influence. Some entries even resembled a kind of memoir, where he shared his experiences about how skillfully he misled his enemies and avoided traps set by the law. Particular attention was given to mentions of his family and loved ones who seemed to be an important part of his motivation. Lines filled with emotion revealed how he strove to ensure his family's safety by any means possible, even resorting to extreme measures. Such personal moments made it clear that behind the cruelty and calculation was a person for whom family meant more than just a word. However, the most intriguing parts of the diaries contained outlines of future plans. These plans encompassed not only business operations, but also the possible expansion of his influence into new territories. Capone planned to make his empire even more powerful and invulnerable. More than ever before, the diaries showed that he was not only a ruthless gangster, but also a man who loved to think strategically ahead, considering every move. All these records radically changed our perspective on the era, revealing that behind the image of a brutal criminal was a true strategist and manipulator. And this discovery has undoubtedly become only the beginning of a new chapter in the study of his criminal empire's history. The consequences of the discovery. How the secrets that were found changed the perception of the Prohibition era. The facts uncovered by researchers became a real sensation. The new information uncovered from the archives and Al Capone's personal diaries changed the perception of the Prohibition era, forcing a new look at this period in United States history. These findings confirmed that Capone not only controlled the illegal alcohol business, but in fact managed an entire network that reached into the most unexpected places. Thanks to his strategic alliances with prominent figures and a complex system of tunnels, he stayed one step ahead of law enforcement. This shattered the stereotype of gangsters as primitive criminals, revealing them as shrewd businessmen and leaders of true empires. Joint ventures with political allies demonstrated just how deeply corruption could take root in society. Capone not only evaded police raids, but also skillfully manipulated public opinion by maintaining the image of a generous philanthropist. The documents that were found also confirmed that he used his influence to pressure the media, which allowed many aspects of his activities to remain hidden from public view. These findings came as a surprise even to experts who had previously studied the era. Moreover, the new information highlighted the complexity of the interactions between gangsters and politicians, where both sides benefited from mutually advantageous cooperation. This controversial partnership broke down the usual boundaries of the concept of law and called into question the effectiveness of law enforcement at the time. Finally, personal diaries revealed another side of Capone to the world, showing him as a strategic thinker prepared for long-term planning, which led historians to reconsider many aspects of his life. In the end, these discoveries not only filled gaps in history but also changed our understanding of how organized crime operated in America.